Arjuna was a great warrior. He had skills, he had talent. There was a guru, Dronacharya, who honed his skills and helping you embark on a journey, making you realize your potential. And this was here where the Crack Verbal team helped me a lot.
Could just give me a brief about your background, what has been your
Yeah.
journey?
My name is Prashant, and I have a defense background. And I put 20 years of experience in the military. So, I served in a number of places, and that enriched my experience over a period of time. So, after a certain time, you see, once you reach the mid to senior level in any organization, you start to look outside the organization, and you start re-evaluating yourself, what I have been through, and what I want future further in the life. So because once you start working in an organization where at the beginning that you have got into this organization and out of your own choice, because I selected this as my career about 20 years back. So the initial half, 10 years, 12 years, you are putting in the organization, giving in your best, gaining experience. But after some time, you feel that probably there are greater horizons to cover. You start looking out. So what I feel that once you reach this age of 35 to 40, lot many factors start interacting within yourself, as well as there are external factors which influence your decisions. So when I reached this stage, I started feeling that probably I need not want myself to be boxed in. During the entire span of my career, I gained a lot of valuable experience interacting with a diverse set of people, getting posted to so many locations, which a normal people can only imagine. But then I had turn of thoughts in myself. I thought, this organization has given me such a diverse experience. Why not I expand it further? You see, the present organization helps me in getting posted within India to diverse locations. But when I had international exposure, and when I started interacting with more people, then I realized probably I need to break the glass ceilings and cover the extra mile. So I started looking outwards, and then I realized, with the world becoming such a small place now because of improved communications, globalization, internet, I thought probably I need to go beyond this horizon which I had set for myself, and that's how I started looking outwards. And then I realized probably I needed more exposure in terms of mobility, in terms of geography, as well as roles. So that's how I needed. I thought that I'll give a break and probably select something which will, which will help me listen to my inner calling. So I started looking for roles, what type of skills I can develop, what type of extra qualifications I can, imbibe in myself. So that's how I zeroed in onto doing an MBA, because it gives you a lot of flexibility, as well as mobility factor in terms of geography, roles, companies, organizations, etc., etc. So that was the time, after a lot of research, that I decided that I'll go in for an MBA.
There were three parts to your research. One is introspection, to figure out whether you really want to do. How do you want to upskill yourself? The second aspect of it could be research online and figuring out and reading up on forums. So, and the third aspect of it is, maybe you've already seen somebody who's taken this career path. So, what were your key drivers to take this call?
Okay, so there was a lot of things. Like, first of all, I spoke to people who were like me, who were in the organization and who moved out at some stage. So I spoke to them. I interacted with a lot of the veterans, and people who had moved out of the organization, and that helped me formulate my thoughts and gave me a direction to think on. And thereafter, I backed it up with some internet research, some more life stories which I read through Google. So all these factors, helped me in cementing my thoughts, and that's how I decided that I'll take a break, and I decided on the course of action.
There are phases to this whole process, right? And the first phase is always taking this beast, which is GMAT, right? Taking the test.
To embark on any new journey, you need to have a crystal clear thoughts in your mind, a crystal clear thought process, I must call. So if you have to set upon something, you have to decide upon early and plan accordingly. So like I told you, it was not an instant decision to go in for an MBA or even change my career. The first of all, you have to decide that whether you want to live a settled life, want to leave a secure job in which you have been serving for so long, and that too when you have been doing well in the organization. So it's a very difficult call to take, right? And it needs a lot of soul searching, and a lot of internal strife goes within yourself. So I would say that I started at least 4-5 years back, and it took me good about 6-7 months to convince myself, that I need to embark on this journey, especially when you're doing well and you are an upcoming, part of the organization. So 6-7 months was the time period when you have started a family. Every decision is not only yours, the family members also get involved. So to convince yourself and your family, it took me a hell lot of time. And then then the second step was to decide on how to go about this entire process. So based on my experience, if I would have applied outside, I'm sure I would have got a good job. But probably, I wanted to start my second career on a sound footing. And, I wanted to build on my foundations. And for that, I had to start from scratch, building the base and then building upon it. So it was a hard call. I knew it will take a lot of effort, and I was ready to do it. So I decided that, I'll give ample amount of time to my preparations, and thereafter, appear for one of the toughest exams in the world, so that I can prove my worth. The prospective school and the employer should not feel that he has just come in and, based only on his experience and something which he achieved 20 years back, getting into an organization, that should not carry on, because things have changed over a period of time. The military has a different culture, the civil corporate world has a different culture. So if you're trying to jump across from one domain to another, you have to be fully prepared for it. So I was ready to take this call, and I gave me ample amount of time, and I was ready to work hard for this exam. And even this exam was a lot of a journey. You had started studying almost after 17-18 years. You had been studying 17-18 years back, and suddenly you started studying all those mathematics concepts and even the verbal part of the GMAT, when you're not only studying English but also applying yourself logically. So first of all, coming out of your comfort zone, dedicating extra hours beyond your work hours, it was a great ask. But since I decided and I wanted to do it, so I set on this journey. And you had to break yourself, your thought process, because what you had been thinking, if you want to go and appear for this exam, it is not going to succeed. So you had to break your inner thought process, start afresh and imbibe the techniques and the hacks of the exams, besides clarifying your concept. So it took me good about of 6-7 months, and it was a stories in which I had highs and lows, learning new concepts, then appearing for mocks, scoring good marks in the mocks. And when suddenly you appeared for the first time in your GMAT, you suddenly find a difference of 120 points in your scores. You're getting 730, 714 marks, and then you're dipping down to 610, 620 in your first attempt in GMAT. It starts breaking your confidence. But with determination and willpower, finally I could get a score of 680. Probably I cannot go to each and every school based on my experience and age factor. I spoke to a lot of schools, and probably and most of the schools were not ready to accept even my application, entirely because of my age and experience, because they thought that I'll not fit in the course. I could apply to any school, like Stanford, Harvard, ISB, or LBS. But the thing is that the application has also to be processed and accepted by the B school. And here came the second aspect of my research, right? I was not eligible for schools like what a 25-year or 30-year-old guy would have been. So the second step was this research of making a list of schools, in which I also took help from you. And when we finally homed onto the list of schools, I was convinced that probably if I send applications to these schools, I have a chance of getting accepted. So this is how, it was again a major part of my research. And when I decided upon the schools, and with your help, with the help of the mentor you provided, and with some self-research, I was able to produce reasonably good applications and get accepted in one of my targets.
What were the three things, more like words of wisdom, if you have to tell them that more from a GMAT preparation perspective?
First thing which I tell you is the clarity of mind, and I must say clarity of mind and a will to undergo hard work and even face odds when you are embarking on this journey. So if you do not have a clarity of mind, probably you cannot either concentrate on your GMAT studies, nor you will be able to produce a good application, because your mind is continuously having an internal strife as to whether I'm embarking on a correct course of action or not. See, doing a GMAT and then going to a respected B school not only saps your energy and time, but it has a burden on your financial. It has financial implications also, especially at this stage when you have a family, probably kids studying in schools. So it's a hard decision to take. Determination to embark on it despite odds coming in your ways is the first thing a person has to decide, right? Second thing is what actually you want to achieve in your life. If you do not have a final goal in your life, probably starting a new career or taking a new journey probably may hurt you after a few years down the line. You have to decide where you want to work, what type of organization you want to work. Especially in our age and experience profile, people have various commitments. Supposing you have old parents, you have children who are studying in class 10 to 12, so you need to take a call whether you want to be with your family, stable at one place, or you want to have uncertainties in life. Even at this stage, even getting into a B school, I'm still not very clear. There's so many uncertainties in my life. Going out to another country, looking for a job thereafter once I complete my MBA. So there are a hell lot of uncertainty. So if you're a person who have some commitments, some liabilities in life, probably you need to take a call whether you want to change a career at this stage or not. And if you decided to change a career, then the next step is whether you want to stay close to your family. Suppose you are from Bangalore, you want to look for a job in Bangalore, or you want to venture out. You want to change your geography within the country, or you want to go outside. So all these things are there. So it all depends upon your commitments and liabilities at this particular stage of life.
Before the process, it's a different story. You think it's only a bunch of essays that I have to write. How difficult can it be? But when you go through the process, you realize that there's a lot of introspection. There is discussion required. There are small things that need to be focused on. Word limit becomes a major problem. How do I tell so much I want to tell, but how do I tell it in 300 words? What do you think you have gained more from this experience?
Yeah, surely. So Shrikala, once you have cleared your GMAT score, I must say that taking help from an experienced person, or taking guidance and making someone who is more experienced a mentor always helps you. Like Arjuna was a great warrior. He had skills, he had talent, but he didn't become Arjuna all by himself. There was a guru, Dronacharya, who honed his skills and helped him, become what he wanted. So, helping you embark on a journey, making you realize your potential is a big assistance from anyone with whom you can interact, you can share your feelings. And this was here where the Crackverbal team helped me a lot to polish that thought process. It was a great ask because you do not have much experience about the corporate or the entire admission process. So when I wanted to get associated with some organization or some institute, I spoke to a few people, who had prior experience of taking help of, admission consulting companies, and I also did my research. And then I reached out to a few people, to a few consulting companies. And when I interacted with Ankit from Crackverbal, I found that he was very forthcoming, and he helped me a lot, handheld me in formalizing my thoughts, and that's how he connected me to the other members of the team, with Crystal, and then you assigned me a mentor. So it was a great experience and journey, and I was really convinced that if I associate with Crackverbal, probably I'll try to bring out my story during the admission process in a more coherent way. And it really helped me a few interactions and sessions with the mentor, and a few sessions with you, which Crystal very promptly organized, clarified my thought process, and I could make a coherent story which I could tell not only in my essays but also during the interview. Because if you write something in your application essays and you speak out something else in interview, there is a disconnect within you, and the admission committee of the B school can identify that. So second thing which you told me, like crafting out a good essay in which you have to follow the word limits is also a big ask, because you want to tell about yourself, but you have to restrict. So the fine art of telling so much in limited words is again a big a challenge. So it doesn't come out in one iteration. You write something and it's not always the best of what you want to write. So you write, you send it to your mentor, he checks it, he brings out the shortcomings, then you again think about it, and you bring out better things. And with each step, with each iteration, your essays become better and better till the time you bring out the best. So this is where the mentor and the support, the assistance from the Crackverbal team really helped me a lot.
Tell us about the interview process. You got interviewed from a couple of schools.
The interviews from the B schools from the UK. It was more of an informal thing, it was like an informal conversation. The people wanted to know more about you, right? And I must say that the interview actually put you at ease. Though you need to take care of the things that you are formally dressed and you are in a formal setting. So the interviews, 2-3 schools in which I appeared, more or less they followed the same procedure. They asked for an introduction, right? And all of them were quite senior to me, both in terms of age as well as experience. But they made it an informal chat, and whatever they asked me were somewhat related to the application essays. So they expected me to tell about the experience and support them with one of the experience which I had in my life, like telling the experience in the form of a short story. And thereafter, they wanted to know the entire thought process of me shortlisting their school for applying, as well as what are my future aspirations. He has done some research about the school and is very clear as to what he wants to do once he finishes the MBA, right? So it was more like an informal chat, right? In the foreign schools, it was a one-man interview. In the IM, which I had appeared, it was like a panel of interviews, right? 2 to 3 people sitting in the interview panel. And probably the interview process was slightly different. So they were not interested, in my, perspective, because I think the panel already knew why I was selecting the school and what I want to do thereafter. So the questions were not based on that. Probably someone might have a different experience. So what they asked me were entirely based on, how well versed I am with, happenings which are going on around in the world, and how is it going to impact the country and, our dealings. Then they asked me about the latest business news like mergers and acquisitions.
Thank you so much, Prashant, for giving me your time. This has been valuable and very inspiring, the whole process.